like the tutorial, people can see the different between different stages compared to if I were to just post the final pic and like, okay, it's not that significant, but if you compare this to my first sketch, you can see there's a clear difference with rendering. So it was just that idea of me wanting people to notice all my detail works, and it turns into something very educational just because I am more fortunate than a lot of folks who aren't able to take physical class. So I really want to squeeze as much as possible in. I know it's really long and quite it's quite like unprofessional in a way, but I think there's also a charm in having things very organic. You see all my struggles, you see all my trouble in the beginning, and then we slowly getting to a point where we are comfortable with. Like I really wanted to wow you guys, but there's nothing to wow. Everything's take time. Everything's started out with a struggle at first, and then we just get better. Sometime I can just yeet out a really I really do apologize for all of these unprofessional terms, but sometimes it's just one click and I was able to create something really, really beautiful out of thin air in like 15 minutes. But I guess today's not that day, and it's okay. It's okay to not push yourself. It's okay to just be human and to struggle and to be better. So it's that. Man, some of you are gonna be, oh my gosh, when she's gonna shut up and actually teach. I'm trying. I'm actually not training in teaching. Yeah, I think the whole point with Colosso and why I really like it is that they ask just like professional, but also like indie folks who's not really trained in like teaching field, but they're in the industry. Right? And if I was able to sell my art, then that mean I'm doing something good, right? So I want to teach you guys on how to make art that would sell, that would look good, and you can make a career out of it. So please bear with me with all of the illustration making chapters, because it's going to be very long, and feel free to skip it to the part that you need to do. But I will be recording everything, even my mistakes, even all my struggle. So you guys can see, like, oh, even me, even professional does this. Yeah, it's really normal to have issue at first. No one started out perfect. Okay, I'll just fix this hair a little bit more, and then we can move on, and then we can do more touch up when we get to the body, because right now we don't have the body yet. So what, imagine if we were to over shade everything and then turns out we really don't need it because it's covered by the body anyway, right? So sometimes it's kind of like this, like I never, like sometimes I wouldn't even finish a part of the drawing just because like there's other element that might change it, that might, what's the word for change, modify it, affect it. English. This is why I am not an English major. And the reason why I'm using this blue, and usually it's blue because you want like a neutral gray or a neutral cooler color for your. This is basically reflective light. You don't want your illustration to just be start one color, base color, highlight, and shadow. You really want to add more color, and wherever I can add more color, I will do that. And it's very common to use blue. Very, very common to use blue. It's in art, I think there's something called atmospheric. What's it called? Something atmosphere. Like oh man, I need to get a better term on it. But it's kind of like indicate partners is far away, or it's away from the light, or away from certain things. And all the blue is basically I don't want my darkest dark to be dark, to be just like a dark color. I want things look more fascinating if you mix color. That's it. That's the whole point. And even with this, you can see what I'm doing. Like I don't even use a fancy layer. Like all I need is the soft brush and I don't know what's this term. I think it's called rim light, like a colored rim light. And usually I see it at like I usually see it with the like orange reddish color. Usually rim light I don't see it with bluish color. But bluish color is usually for like the shadow area and you want it to go a little bit brighter, you want to balance out the color, then that would be the case. So it looks really good already, right? Like we just need to get to the body to figure out what hair to keep and what hair not to keep. And after that, it's pretty much done. Let me actually fix on the ears. Okay. Real fast. But yeah, you see, I don't know how much hour that took just for the face. Oh, been a while since I do thing without reference. Oh, I haven't really touched up on like face. What's it called? Oh, face shadows, like drop shadow for your hair. Oh, also remember not to render your ears. Actually, for ears because it is like behind certain thing. It's not gonna be 100% light. So I'm gonna start out with that kind of color and go a little bit darker. Then if you have trouble, just look at yourself. Just look at um your own ear, take a picture of your own ears. You can go on Pinterest and get more ears. Reference, just not get more ears. Out of context, that would be quite weird. Let's see. The inner ear. Usually there's like a piece of meat right here. You don't have to remember the term for it. Just remember the shape over a shape of things. This is also a really nice way to not use line art and just use like element from other part, kind of like what I'm using the ears for. I'm using the element, these ears, to kind of section out the ears and the hair in a way. Like this. Be a lot deeper. I'm looking at ears reference. Hmm, this part be bigger. There's the hole. It's like, where's the hole? The hole is right down there. Right down there. For this session. Don't have to be way too detailed with the ears. Just get the general shape should be good. Getting the general shape right should be good enough. Unless you're painting emphasize on the ears, then go crazy. Oh, see how nice that is? Now even fix on it a little bit more. Who knows? That was right. Oh, the wrong layer, but hey, no worries. On top of it. Yep. I'll add the little earrings when we get to accessory. That's why I'm saving all the accessory too for the future chapters, and then we'll go through the process of bedazzling her up. Okay. I think I'm pretty good with this. I can go on tone curve and see if I like another layer, go to edit tone curve. I do tone curve quite often. And then in the end, I'll do even more tone curve. Like I'll teach you guys on something else to do this. I think this is pretty good. Color wise, it's pretty good. Mm-mm. Now let's do the, like, this is before, a little bit more dull. After, it just had a little bit more contrast. Had a little bit more contrast that I like. But I still want this area around the face to be a little bit lighter, so I'm just gonna erase the part. And that's it. What I'll do now is to the drop shadow. For this, like, a lot of people use multiply, but it really depends. Now you don't even need to use a multiply. Oh, let's see. Multiply, it's just making the color a lot more saturated than it need. And sometimes I don't need it. I don't need it that much for this because the light is hitting really hard on her. I'm going to have the eyeshadow being all the way, like, actually just add another layer of shadow up there. I'm going to be really rough with my shadow right now to get the overall shape. You can always thin it later. Something like this. Okay. Add a little over here. Okay. Fitting. Where our head? Where our head at? In my head. Okay, so light is around this area and up here too. So I'm gonna make sure those areas are lighter. And a little bit on the cheek. Go lighter on the cheek. Let's do a really soft hardness. Really soft. By a lot. Really soft. That would be good. For hair, let's imagine like a shadow got all the way down. Like this color. And the shadow got all the way down here. Only leaving a little space. Okay. Lighter. That way. Using a lighter. A lighter hardness or low hardness. Lower the hardness level. And then now you raise it up. Or maybe you don't want it to be way too heavy or all the shading. And remember that oranges, rim light, rim light, rim light. It is. See a term for it. Like I use the term quite often. Sometimes I just forget. See what's the term for it. It should be okay, rim light. Or like around the Terminator. Like the it's not halftone, it's next to the halftone. So halftone and then you have Terminator, midtone, halftone or midtone. Halftone, midtone is kind of like it is kind of like the intersection, but then Terminator is like a divider. It's more sharper in nature. So something like this area would be halftone, but something like this would be Terminator. It's the light, either that or core shadow. but it's just a different in thing like blurriness. Like one is like a blend between light and dark, and one is kind of like a bridge. You can see actually see the shape of the shadow, and just around the edge, I'll add a lighter color around this color. The more I go up, the more darker it is. And color up here, like this. How you do it? Like that's how I do it. I just do it like organically. There's no fancy layered thing. Just paint on top of it. Like how would you do this in oil painting without overlays or any of that fancy techniques? There's no way, right? So you're basically doing everything yourself with just one layer. That mentality will come in handy. I promise you, that mentality will come in handy someday. Someday you will be like, oh my gosh, thank you, Alice. By using this, I don't have to remember 7,000 um different layer property. Okay. And again, it's a lot more liberating. Time consuming, yes. For beginners, time consuming, yes. Intimidating, yes. But fun, try it out. If I can do it, why can you? Oh, Harper. Another layer on top. And just strengthen the line art for this. That's basically it. As you can see, that is how I do lighting and rendering for the face. From afar, remember to zoom out from afar. By zooming out from far, that eye looks kind of too bright. Too bright of an eye. Let's tone it down. Tone it out by using multiply. And well, all I'm doing is I'm getting same brush we're doing all this time. Like that. Like skin color on top of it to tone it down. Like that. A little bit more tone down. Like it's okay if your stars is that color. You can always delete it later. Delete the multiply stars. Something like this. I think something like this is a lot more coherent than before. See if I can improve on this and even more coherent. Okay, so it's just a matter of lighter. Hmm. So it is lighter in nature. Do it again. Usually, if you go up on the tone curve, it's lighter and brighter in color, lighter and more saturated in color. Like going to the right, it's higher in saturation. Going up, it's brighter in color, more contrast. Lower, it's darker if you want to add like emphasize, or you want to make the shadow a lot deeper, then lowering the point on the tone curve would be the way. And then if I zoom out and everything is uh, nicely blended, 100% blended, but it doesn't look way too out of place, then it's good. And then I just add a little bit of a touch up on the line art. And all of this, as you can see, it's not line art. This is just me cleaning up the previous sketch. That's good. And then we can always go back on it later. So don't overwork it. Overwork it, Alice. Get away from the keyboard. Okay. Okay, I think we are pretty good with chapter 12. Maybe take a little bit too long. With an hour. More than an hour. You guys are gonna hate me on this. But for the next chapter, we'll go over the body and we'll go over the body. I'll go over the front and back body anatomy like really quick, and then we'll start in the illustration. Just because you guys can all see that I'm pretty slow. So let's save a lot of time, and I'll talk more about the anatomy while we're doing the illustration, rather than like I'll have more guide for you guys to look at home. But for the next chapter, I'll go over the front and back upper body really fast, and then start with the illustration. So I'll see you guys in chapter 13. Bye bye.